We cannot see the wind, but we can see it move through the trees. We cannot see the world from beginning to end, nor can we see truth from top to bottom. But we can see the Spirit move throughout history. See it move through theologians and councils, questions and answers, monks and scholars, farmers, and even lawyers. And as we take a look at the history of Christian theology, we see something that looks less like a well-ordered timeline and more like a tree. Organic, living, growing, with each part connected to every other part. In the same way, without a Pelagius and Augustine, we would have a very different Luther. Without Luther, there would be no Calvin. Without Calvin, we wouldn't have an Arminius. And without Arminius, there wouldn't be a Wesley or an evangelical faith as we know it today. The Seventh-day Adventist faith is not a tree without roots. It has been raised up within a context, raised to stand on the broad shoulders of Christians that God has appointed before it. Adventists have received the rich theological heritage of the Protestant Reformation, and it is in that line that they stand as theological reformers. So what does it mean to reform theology? It means dealing with the questions that exist, answering the unanswered questions, and even searching to find out who God is and how he relates to us. That's what Luther sought to do. That's what Calvin sought to do. It's what Arminius and Wesley also sought to do. And it's what the Seventh-day Adventist Church seeks to do today. Because there are still unanswered questions. As each new generation picks up the faith, new questions will arise, and old questions must be answered again. Does God decree everything that we do, or are we free? Or is it somehow mysteriously both? What are we to make of the relationship between God's sovereignty and strong grace and human choices? How does divine freedom relate to human freedom, if there really is such a thing? Underlying all of these issues is a rich, long history. 2010 marks 400 years from the Remonstrance of 1610, when followers of Jacob Arminius protested against Calvin's doctrine of predestination. They objected to Calvin's doctrine on 5 specific points, and on all 5 points were condemned as heretics by the Synod of Dort. Yet those 5 short articles have left an indelible impression on Christian thinking. The rustling of the Spirit in the branches and leaves. That man has not saving grace of himself, nor energy of his free will, inasmuch as he is in the state of apostasy and sin. History has given us a good foundation, but it's there to be built upon, not stuck in. The conversation, the Reformation, continues with us, and there are still questions that must be answered. Are we born sinners? Are we justified through faith and works? Is all humanity justified by the cross? Was atonement completed at the cross? Can we lose our salvation? How do I know if I've been saved anyway? I believe that we can all agree that there is but one answer: Christ, our salvation. But what does that really mean?